So it right up the Chelsea, up the Minerals FC. Big up to every single one of you live and locked in. Hope everyone is doing well in life. First and foremost, I want you all to smash to pieces that like button. If you haven't smashed it, smash it right now. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you do so. We've got the notification bell ding dong. Let's have it right so you know when we go live. And we've got the Minerals FC Ultras membership down below in the description. Salute to all the Minerals FC Ultras. Salute to our Chelsea old boys. We see things they'll never see. And salute to the no surrender mentality. So big up to everyone. We're going to get straight into it. But first and foremost, I want to address something that's gone under the radar. We had our Chelsea's 120th anniversary yesterday, and the Chelsea admin are an embarrassment and disgrace. They put up a video, and in that video that they put up, they didn't include Matthew Harding, they didn't include Ken Bates, and they definitely didn't include Don Roman Abramovich, who all participated in the huge success, the heritage of this football club and winning the lot. They also didn't put Thomas Tuchel in there, but they put Avram Grant and they put Central Seed, bruv. Yeah? What's going on? I'm surprised they didn't have the Hilton Hotel bed end advertised or the Argyle Golden Globes movies implemented into that video. But we definitely got their Cole Palmer in there, and respect to him, because if it wasn't for him, we would have been relegated last year. So I can understand he has been carrying Chelsea and still is to this point, even though he's going through a little bit of a tough period. But salute to Cole Minerals Palmer. They did include Mason Mount, but they didn't show Kai Havertz scoring the winning goal. It's just a joke, and it's a mockery, and shows the ownership's true agenda and their jealousy on definitely Roman Abramovich and the previous owners, and Ken Bates, obviously, with the CPO. We've got the CPO, we own the name Chelsea Football Club, and we own the pitch. So let's have it right. They're a bit, you know what I'm saying, a little bit edgy towards that. It's a sensitive topic for the Clown Lakes, what we're doing here. Also, it's been announced today that Chelsea will look to sell some players and make a lot on departures this summer, which proves my point is, because of the debt from Aries management of 500 million on 13% interest rate and the 702 million on syndicate bank loans, with Sonia, it takes you up to what, 7% interest. The money's been spent. They've spent 1.5 billion, and we don't have a spine. We don't have any experience. We have an under 25-year-old policy. We're hearing that we're looking at Bellingham's kid brother. We're looking at young players again, and we're not looking to buy any experience. We've got John Obi Mikel coming out saying, you know, I know why we didn't sign Osman. I know why, because if Barley wouldn't pay the above 150 grand a week, and we need a world-class striker. He also mentioned we need everyone knows we need a world-class goalkeeper. We don't need 8 of them on the roster. We need a world-class centre-back, and we do need another world-class midfielder. Let's have it right. So we're talking about a spine. After spending 1.5 billion, we ain't got it, and we are in need now of going into the transfer market in the summer, call it an Ornstein. We need to judge them on the 7th transfer window, whereas he told us we need to judge the ownership and the project after 4 transfer windows. So even he's a Pinocchio in human form, bruv. What we doing here? The pathetic acting pathetically as usual. But we're a sell-to-buy club now, and they are betting on Champions League football. Without Champions League football, then they're basically financially done like a kipper. And on top of that, they are counting on the Club World Cup, which embarrassingly, let's have it right, it's been announced today that the Club World Cup will be available in the Megastore at Stamford Bridge on a certain day so that everyone can take photos of the Club World Cup, the trophy that, let's have it right, are we even going to win that to profit on the 1 billion prize money? But I think people would be more inclined, Supporters International will rather pay for the Chelsea tour to take pictures with trophies that we've actually won, not before we've won them. Like, what are we doing here? This is acting like Brighton. This is mid-table mentality. So I had to address that. Also, we got Meatloaf Bowley's been announced as he will pause his ownership of Strasbourg as Chelsea push for Champions League football next season because of the conflict of interest of Strasbourg. If they finish above Chelsea, and get Champions League football, then Chelsea are eliminated from Champions League football and vice versa. But why is it Todd Bowley? Because we all know it's well documented that Ed Barley is calling all the shots at Strasbourg. So we should have Ed Barley's name there, not Meatloaf Bowley. He's the face of Vivid Seats. What are we doing here? Yeah? So again, we land the facts. And can everybody just stop getting shot? So we're going to get straight into it. Enzo Maresca, Mascara, let's have it right. Now we're going back to that. He's demanding fans to get behind the team to get Champions League football. He's also saying that the fans need to be happy as fans because of the chances created. Now, I just want to reiterate on this because he's taking shots at the Chelsea supporters and the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. We beat a Leicester with an inept Van Nistelrooy and the bottom of the barrel Leicester City, who haven't won a game since early January. And we relied on our left-back Cucurella scoring the only goal. We also, just to reiterate, of the amazing form we had against Copenhagen, we didn't have any shots on target in the first half, and we relied on our first shot on target to be Reece James from outside the box to score us a goal playing from midfield. And against Brighton in the FA Cup, was it? No, it was the Premier League game that we lost. We didn't have not one shot on target. So all these chances created nonsense against the bottom of the barrel Leicester is an embarrassment. But where I want to expose Enzo Maresca is this is what he said. He said, we're not in a title race when we were sitting second. He said, we're not aiming for Champions League this year. It's a 2-year project. To then switch and go, we are aiming for Champions League football. To then also demand after beating Leicester that we all as supporters need to get behind the team to get Champions League, like we weren't behind the team all season and every season under this clown ownership. He's backing Sanchez and saying, look how many misplaced passes and shots that Caicedo and Jackson has had. So Sanchez is inept and he's fine. He's all right. He's excluded from making any mistakes. What's that all about? He said Sanchez is the number one goalkeeper, to flip and say Jorgensen's the number one goalkeeper. He's also called out players in the squad saying we have no leaders or captains, and says, and that was when Reece James was in the team. And now he's saying he only sees Reece James as a midfielder while he was in Marbella drinking fish bowls with Winstanley and Stewart, taking the orders and bending over and getting bloody knees, drinking bloody Marys, just have it right. Mugging off Reece James to then say, oh, he was a great leader. And then he's also, when we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, he says, oh, don't worry, we've got the League and Conference League Cup to play for. All right? That's the mid-mentality, yeah? But let me say to him on the Reece James situation and calling out captains and this and that. Maybe, just generally, maybe Enzo Maresca should look at himself, yeah? Look at how the team is playing. We're boring. It's sideways. It's all inverted FC. It's rigid. It's literally a one-trick pony. That's what we are. And he's been found out. And in the capability that he hasn't got any capability to be versatile in games. He doesn't want to switch it. He doesn't want to change anything. And he's constantly rotating, like, for example, the goalkeepers, like I've said. It's embarrassing. We don't have any consistency. He's dictated, and that's the reality. But let's land the facts here, right? We got 27 points out of 16 games, which is out of 40. So 27 points out of 48 points. We got 12 points from 36 points. That's 12 games. And that's with Leicester and Southampton. But before that, before the games that we beat Leicester and Southampton in the Premier League, who are bottom of the barrel, by the way. I mean, if you're not beating them, what we doing here? We got 2 wins out of 9. Yeah? 2 wins out of 9. And that's 2 wins out of 10 games. That's 9 points out of 30 points. Yeah? So what are we doing here? All of a sudden, we beat Leicester and Southampton, and you're asking for us to get behind the team to get Champions League when you were telling us that we're Champions League's not for this year, it's for next year and the year after. It's a 2-year project. Yeah, maybe this yes man, all right, should look at the ownership for their piss poor transfer windows and signings. The fact that they're on this Brighton FC model. The fact that they're using AI scouting, that they're signing kids galore, that they're buying in Viega in the summer and João Felix and then letting them go after 6 months, weakening the squad. The fact that he's got no say, that the fact that he's not getting backed, maybe he should have a word with them upstairs instead of coming at the supporters and getting on his knees to try and get us and blame us because of the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, yeah, because of a few boos, because of the way we're playing is just embarrassing, all right? And maybe you should just question upstairs, those pound note merchants. And let's remind Enzo Maresca, why do you think the atmosphere is the way it is? I'll educate the gaffer. Let me educate him, yeah? Because it's been infiltrated by Vivid Seats customers, mate. Because all the loyal membership supporters and all the legacy supporters that have the membership scheme and have been for years after years can't get access to games, can't get tickets, and are outpriced. So you're not going to get your vocal supporter. You're going to get that rich supporter, that international supporter that's going to come for one game, spend all the money, go to the mega store and sit in there with their iPhone, iPad, filming and doing Instagram stories, yeah? And not chanting and not having the bread and butter supporter in there. That's why the atmosphere's dead. It's been like this ever since these owners have come in. And let's question Meatloaf Bowley there. Why didn't you have a word with Meatloaf Bowley? How he's literally mugging off all the memberships, all the supporters that pay their memberships. How about that? How about the fact that he's a ticket tout? So Ratcliffe came out today or yesterday and he says the supporters earn you points. Well, clearly Blue Code don't think that way. They only see us as customers and they're only interested in generating the pound note. And on top of all of this, he wants to come at us and he plays Casado and Palmer relentlessly 90 minutes every single game because he's over-reliant on these two players. Casado's almost on, he's one yellow card away from 2 game suspension, and Palmer's apparently had diarrhea, and he's desperate to play, even though he doesn't feel well. I blame the manager for this. He's not managing these players. He's not giving them any rest, and they are the most important players in the team. So you're burning them out because you're over-reliant on them, because the squad is not good enough, these players are not good enough, and everyone keeps hyping up players, hyping up this manager and talking about the metrics and the XG and the chances created, and we're second and we're third. The reality is we're sitting fourth right now. That's the going rate. We're sitting fourth. But where's the context here? It's the Premier League, as Jason Cundy said. This league, this year, has been the worst quality Premier League season I've ever witnessed. The decline in quality, the decline in the levels of football, the decline of all the big clubs like Man United. You know, you look at Man City this year, you look at all these teams that are playing, they've declined massively. And the quality and level in the football itself is so poor because all these owners are only interested about is generating pound notes, lowering wage structures and trying to create larger profit margins instead of actually focusing on the football team, the game itself, and assembling a proper world-class team, all right, or a team of a certain level to make the Premier League exciting. It's the best league in the world, and it's not being dressed like that. Because these clowns want to change the fabric, the blueprint, the pyramid of the English game, and they're doing that. They're setting a trend with this whole Brighton FC within an elite football club. Yeah, we're fourth in the table because everyone else has been poor. And let's have it right. If everyone wasn't, if Man City wasn't, if Newcastle wasn't, if Aston Villa wasn't, if Man United weren't, where would Chelsea be? We would be mid-table. We only look better because of everyone else is having a stinker this season. And let's have it right. We haven't beaten a top 10 side since what? Since December? Well, we've lost twice to City, and every other top 6 side has beaten City at least once. We've lost to them twice. Like, we don't beat any of the top 6 teams. And you can't even count Spurs in there. We couldn't go to Arsenal. We couldn't beat Arsenal at our ground, and they were in the mud. We went 1-0 behind. We couldn't beat Man United, who were in the absolute gutter at Old Trafford. and we had to come back from 1-0 down with a Casado volley. Like, what are we doing here? We've lost to Brighton. We've lost to Fulham. We've lost to Ipswich. And this gaffer's got the audacity to say, we want the fans to get behind us and put all the onus on us. When the reality is, sort yourself out. Stop being a yes man, grow some bollocks, and actually, like, do something about it. Because everyone is forgetting this horrific run that we've been on. Who's going to get the blame? I blame the manager and I blame the recruitment, Winstanley, Stuart Little, and the ownership. Everything stems to the ownership. So you can blame Enzo Maresca all you want. But what I don't like about Enzo Maresca, and the reason he's coming out with this, saying that we need the supporters behind us to get top four, to get Champions League football, is because of the protest. And it's the protest and the pressure and the vocalness from those supporters. He's on his knees for people like myself who are anti-Blue Co and always will call out the truth. They want everyone to just trickle along into this toxic positivity nonsense when in reality, everything is mid at our football club. The standards at this football club are in the absolute gutter. So when you talk about since the protest that the 1958 setup, which was epic of 20,000 plus, you've got Ratcliffe going on with Gary Neville and with all his PR, addressing the supporters, actually addressing the supporters and addressing the situation. And fair play to him. He landed some minerals to actually speak out for a 40-minute video, an interview, and address the Man United supporters. What do we get from Bowley sitting at a conference? Doesn't address Vivid Seats, doesn't address nothing. Yeah? And then they announced that Man United are going to have a new stadium built of 100,000 capacity. And all of our Chelsea supporters are going, where's our stadium? Yeah. In less than 2 years, Ratcliffe, Ineos and Man United are announcing a new stadium. And our clowns at our football club can't even get a shirt sponsor. Can't even get Champions League football. Can't even win anything in 3 years. Spending 1.5 billion, gutting everything out of our football club. Going through 3 managers, 64 players. What an embarrassment. And Man United are in the gutter. Yeah? So fans are crying for a stadium, bruv. Yeah? And we ain't got any of the things I mentioned. Front and shirt sponsor, Champions League, trophies, nothing. Yeah? And you're going to pin it on the Chelsea supporters trust and the pitch owners. Yeah? You're going to slander the pitch owners because they're trying to hold Chelsea back. These lot can't even, they have to get more debt to build a stadium with the help of the UK government, yeah? We got bigger fish to fry, let's have it right, in terms of addressing our first team and addressing us at a competitive level and a footballing level, yeah, than build a stadium right now when you can't even get a front shirt sponsor. This is a joke. And it's embarrassing on this clowns upstairs at Blue Co, yeah? Man United also, via Ratcliffe, he addressed, yeah, that the club could run out of money by December, end of this year, 2025, yeah? So where does that leave Chelsea Football Club, who are in almost double the debt that Man United are in, who don't generate anywhere near as much as the money that Man United generates, being the stature and size of Man United on a global scale? And you expect us to go and build a stadium? You're a long way from Starbucks, mate, yeah? That's the reality of where we are at Chelsea. Is that Man United are in the absolute gutter of 20 years they need 20, they're trying to repair 20 years of absolute damage, yeah? And because of the protest, they got their part owner coming out addressing the supporters, announcing a stadium rebuild, yeah? Straight away, bruv, because, let's have it right, you need the supporters on board. What do our ownership do? They do nothing. Ed Barley and Feliciano are too busy blocking me on Twitter and trying to shadow ban me because I land the facts, and they can send out Meatloaf Bowley as the face, the biggest clown, yeah, who's got a bigger agenda in changing the fabric of football and not addressing Vivid Seats and not to take this Eldridge company away from majority share of Vivid Seats and stop milking supporters because they need to generate money. And they can't. They spent all the money. We've got the worst debt with the highest double-digit interest rates. Yeah? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Let's have it right. So I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear all this prop about Enzo Maresca. Give him time. Don't sack him. Oh, the directors are not going to get sacked. Why are the directors not going to get a sack? Chelsea supporters need to unite. You know, we need to actually unite, but no one's interested in uniting. They're all on their own personal agendas and their own personal bank account agendas. Pound note merchants, sellouts, all the journalists the same. No one's got a divine right, yeah, to put out these agendas, bruv. It's wrong. You need to address the situation. You need to say it as it is. You need to speak the facts, the truth about where we are as a football club. And we need to protest. The protest hurt the ownership. 110% it hurt them. Like it hurt the Glazers and it hurt Ineos and Ratcliffe. The geezer's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. So I'm too old for this. I want to bring, I'm a Man United supporter. I want to bring us back to where we belong. And I need to make these decisions. He got called out on them. I'm not going to get into the details of that. But they got exposed because the protest, the power of protests work. And Chelsea need to protest. And I'm telling you now, it shouldn't even be a matter of if we get top four, you know, do we protest, do we not protest? Win, lose or draw, trust the protest, blue coat out. This ownership have got no intent to win. Everything they've done up to this point proves that. They're not going to change their model. They're not going to buy a world-class striker. They're not going to buy, they could have had Osimhen, they're not going to get him. They're not going to get a Gikris. They're not going to get a world-class goalkeeper. They're not going to address the situation. They haven't financially got the capability or muscle to do it because they've spent all the money and they're paying debt right now. And to build a stadium, they need to get approval where the other location is, and they've trademarked the name Chelsea and the Chelsea and the logo with LDN on there, CFC LDN. That's it, which is already opposite the Matthew Harding. You can see it above the shed. They're already planting the seed, mate. Yeah, everything is being done by design. Everything they do is built by design. It's not mistake. These clowns are not making mistakes. The debt dictates the model, and the model we got ain't going to change. So let's have it right. Enzo Maresca needs to shut up. Yeah, all his defence league need to shut up. Let's have it right. All these wrong uns trying to police Chelsea supporters, you all need to shut up. Yeah, literally, because the reality is, yeah, they're on their knees and they're betting on getting Champions League, but they don't want to tell you that. That's why they got Enzo Maresca to say it's a 2-year project. Because if they get it, we've overachieved because we're ahead of schedule. And if they don't get it, they say, well, the plan was only for next year to get it anyway and bides more time. No, mate. Bare minimum, as John Terry said, is top 4. Bare minimum. Let's have it right. I'm not having it no more. And I will keep the standards as they were set by Don Roman. We are not going to drop our standards. And let's have it right. Enzo Maresca, he's in a pickle because he knows this squad's not good enough. Yeah? But he's not an elite winning manager. And not even an elite winning manager can pave over the cracks of this squad assemblement. This lot are running our football club like a stock market, and the players are the stocks. And they want to increase the value, sell them, and buy more kids. And it's not going to stop. Facts. So let's have it right. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, put all your comments down below, and I will be back again as usual. Let's have it right. No surrender mentality. Up the Chelsea, up the Minerals FC, and what we doing here. Win, lose or draw, blue coat out.